So that access road, I guess the sign burnt, but it don't really go anywhere. I've traveled about a mile looking for a place to enter. Land for sale. Whitetail Properties. What better way to sell land than to remove everybody from it. Get it at a much cheaper rate. Let's see, does that go anywhere? That road didn't go anywhere either. And it's starting to sprinkle. It was supposed to be clear today. I wanted to get some good pictures in the sunlight because this is shadowy and hard to see a good clear video. So let's see if we can. Alright, we don't have any signs here saying we can't be here, so let's lock her down. Okay. So we're gonna take a little walk, see how far we can go, how much we can see, but there's a little bit more sunshine here too. The cloud just moved away. Oh yeah, this is a good road here. So, looks like they did knock down a couple of trees on the sides here. Still just one set of tracks. For anybody that responded, I don't know if it was local farmers that responded with their tractors. We got a lot of people here that do earth moving jobs and such. It just really, it was one of the scariest things I've ever seen. And I'm old, so I survived the blizzard in '93, where I'm from in Chattanooga, and I survived the 7 tornadoes that come through Chattanooga. They dropped people from Coleman, Alabama, up there in Appleton, Tennessee, where I lived in. We still got all our alerts, dead phone, live phone, TV, until the power went out. We had our warnings. Let me throw the tire away. Yeah, but see, just one set of tracks for equipment. Looked like one truck followed behind. But everything beyond the beginning in the first video I took yesterday, that's where it started, and the wind was blowing west towards the Uplands Village Senior Community Care Center. They sell nice homes there. You can get them at a good discount. You pay $500 a month for maintenance. when you can no longer use the home, they get to buy it back. And then you go into the senior care center in the middle of Pleasant Hill, where they have indoor pool and gym, and it's set up kind of like a little hotel for people who are falling down at night and there's nobody to get them up and stuff. They eventually have to go into the care center, and that's part of their business model. Right now the village has been bought up mostly by people from up around Hammond, Chicago area, where our neighbor, Mr. Gutierrez, had an issue with the FBI up there because he was buying up the village and putting everything in his friends' names and taking over a village and bankrupting it, and then they get it for cheap. Last week my name has been changed at the USPS. I didn't do that. I actually scanned in my real ID at the post office, so there wasn't any room for a clerical error. And while on the phone with the USPS, I discovered that my address no longer exists, even though it's 3-generation farmhouse mailbox. They've effectively changed me from a Neely. Now my last name is Eagle at the USPS. And I don't have an address, according to them. So that was going on last week. I had just got off the phone Monday with Spectrum for my emergency alerts not coming through and my phone being hacked and all that. Well, come Tuesday, we had tornado watch and fire watch, and nobody got the alerts except for if you had a device that was charged but dead, you know, like it wasn't hooked up to emergency services, then you got your alert. The paying customers did not get any alert, TV, phone, or radio. So a lot of the people here in the community, the fire was right at their back door, and since their curtains were drawn and the wind was blowing hard for the tornadoes, we didn't know the fire was fixing to burn us alive. Thank God a few neighbors sprung into action quickly and alerted others and helped get everybody to safety at the evacuation site, which was Pleasant Hill Elementary, which is directly across the street from my home. And looks like we're going to get down here to a spot where we can actually survey for a long ways and see just how extensive this beast was, because it was a beast. It lit up the sky for miles. It looked like red dawn, tequila sunrise. Only problem was the sun don't rise over here. And I was watching TV looking for tornado alerts, and I wasn't looking out my back window. So I didn't have no idea that it was fixing to be right there at us, jumping the highway. I didn't know. And so I'm really curious if they're even gonna inspect this or rule it a arson, rule it an accident. Like I said before, it was very odd that before even anybody knew the fire was burning, maybe just 5 people had seen it and was trying to warn the others, that they said that it got started by a telephone pole blowing over and the transformer lighting up. Well, as you can see, there's no wires back here, no poles, no nothing. We've got power restored everywhere now, and the poles and the trees blowed over from the wind that was created off of this fire, because this fire was so big. It kept blowing and jumping. Let's see if you can tell from here, but this looks like an area where they set up their sawmill to take timber. Looks like this part was already stripped and logged, and just the debris they didn't want was left. There's a lot of bark on the ground from sawmill type operation. But wished it was sunnier today. It was blowing and jumping all the way that way. When you see the black spots on the horizon, like that next hilltop, that's another where it jumped to, closer towards the town. And if the sun was cooperating today, you could see the black over that way. The sun's trying to cooperate. But it is winter. And so we don't have any greenery on the hardwoods, just the evergreens. But yeah, there's apparently there's no power lines anywhere. But you can see the black spots where the wind was blowing so high, and then it created its own wind, so it was jumping, like it jumped over there across that bare field, and it jumped over yonder. And the next morning you could see the steam coming off the ground from the areas where it jumped to. The senior center has probably got a couple of hundred elderly in there that can't walk. So my main concern is how are we going to get all them out when there ain't but a handful of people that even know what happened. Most people don't believe us when we tell them how bad it was, because it still hasn't been on the news. They'll drive down the main highway 70 and say, well, I couldn't see nothing, even though their power was out for an entire week too. They don't want to believe that nobody would respond. They didn't get alerts on their phones either. Still aren't. We had an Amber Alert, I think it was Wednesday. Only one individual got the Amber Alert Wednesday after the fire. It might have been Thursday after the fire. When you're under duress and you're up all night and your home turns into a refugee camp for animals and grandmas, you know, you're sleep deprived, and may be wrong on the Amber Alert day, but either way, after the fire, we didn't even get the Amber Alert on the dead devices that the warning, the fire warning and evacuation warning had come through the dead phones. I happened to have a dead phone charged in a drawer because it got hacked, and they told me not to transport my contacts over to it, to put them in manually, so I wouldn't. Spectrum said it'd keep me from getting the virus in my new device I bought, new accounts I made. My national emergency alert button inside the settings of the new phone won't respond to touch. Spectrum showed me how to go in there and turn on my national alerts, but they won't come on. Local alerts are on, so evidently there was no local alert issued. But one cop came to block off Browntown I called my friend working till 11 at night in Crossville and told him, hey, you better get home and get your mama and sister and all them animals out. They're fixing to burn alive. So he raced down here, got here in like 10 minutes from town, and there was one cop blocking Browntown, and there was no emergency responders. Nobody was organized with any kind of transit for the 200 plus grandmas over there that can't walk, that would need to be evacuated. So that was quite disturbing. I find it interesting that the prior Friday and Monday and the prior Thursday as well and Wednesday, I was on the phone with the Postal Service over and over, going to the postal branch, going back to the phone. They couldn't figure out when or how or why that my address that's been there for 100 years is now erased from the United States Postal Service system, and my name was changed in the system to Eagle. I'm not an eagle, I'm a Neely, and my real ID has a barcode on it to scan it into the postmaster, so there was really no room for a clerical error to occur. Not to mention the fact that my address don't exist as far as they're concerned. Now, I just bought the place a year ago, did the title search and everything, you know, pay the title company to do real estate, and I was Crowlike. Crowlike didn't transfer my homeowners over like they said they did, and so I was there about a year before I got my renewal bill in the mail and read on there that I was still insuring my old address. Thank God nothing happened then. But there's a lot of people involved in the corruption around here, from mayor, cops, real estate. We got probate fraud happening at very high rate. I'm waiting on a man died. He had a mortgage with me and died owing me, and that probate's over. I still haven't been paid. They had changed his name on the death certificate. He was a disability receiver, and so when they changed his name to the wrong name on the death certificate, well, that's what they go by at the probate. And the lawyer, Jack Franklin, he kept arguing and fussing with me till I had to bring a guardian ad litem with me, a representative or advocate, whatever you want to call him, with me to force him to fix that name at probate so I could get what the man owed me for the house. Got that finally straightened out. Probate went through. I get the documents back after probate's over, and only to discover that they put the wrong address for the house I'm owed money. My house I mortgaged to a man that died. They put the wrong address on there. And so now probate's been over since the end of January. I still ain't been able to get a hold of nobody. Lawyers won't call me back to do foreclosure. Nothing's happening there. Meanwhile, one of the lawyers hacked me for $10,000, a free consultation. Bank found him guilty. Bank lost $10,000. I made a police report, but they didn't file it. When the bank took their 90 days, said I was innocent. At that point, I went back to Crossville Police to see, you know, what happened with the lawyer hacking me. The bank found him guilty. What was your finding? Oh, we don't have a report. Oh, well, yeah, I called and made one. Gave him the officer's name. Nothing ever happened. So I kept pursuing it because not only did the bank admit there was other victims, but he targeted somebody that's old, he perceives as elderly and incapable of figuring out what happened to him or proving anything. But this lawyer that hacks folks, he used to work at the regional DA Dunaway's. And so Dunaway is the one you have to, the regional DA is the one that has to issue you a referral to get to TBI or FBI. Dunaway's the one that approves the who can be arrested and who can't. We had a sheriff friend of his, Odie Shute. He didn't face a murder trial because Dunaway blocked his murder trial. He's no longer a sheriff. His son was the meth maker. They finally locked him up for 10 years after multiple meth busts and 2 murders for the son. So this is just not even halfway down. It just keeps going. I can't go live like I said because it says you got to have 50 viewers to go live. So let's see if I can find something else to video.